I want to have a discussion of the National League wildcard spots, third spot. There are 9 teams separating, all separated by 3 games. So we got the San Luis Cardinals, the Padres, D-backs, Pittsburgh, Washington, the Cubs, Mets, Cincinnati, and Giants. I want to know who has the biggest upside.
Oh, breaking news.
What
We have
happened?
breaking news.
Here we go again with the plus minuses there.
When you beat me to it, I was like, oh shoot. Which
you
other
have to
team
you
gonna?
have to be quick. You have to be quick. In game, real time, it's hard to like make that same thing call 100%.
Hello, we are back again. Saturday Sliders, Saturday, June 22nd. I'm Almar and I have Armando next to me, and let's talk baseball.
Let's go around the league with this week's news. On Tuesday night, we found out that we lost a one of our heroes, one of our legends of the game, the passing of Willie Mays. Um, he was passed away in his sleep. He was 93 years old. Um, the baseball world mourns his loss. He was one of the baseballs around the world heroes. So Willie Mays is a Hall of Famer, 2 times National League MVP, 12 times Gold Glove, a 1954 World Series champion, and part of the 600 and 60 home run club. A career batting average of 301, a 1951 National League Rookie of the Year, a 24 All Star, and 2 times All Star MVP, and 32 93 career hits. Omar, um, what do you have to say about the morning of Willie Mays?
Baseball will surely miss the Say Hey Kid. We did not have the luxury of watching Willie Mays play live. However, those highlights we always see, especially the basket catch in center field, will be remembered for eternity. Sad day in baseball. Our deepest condolences to Willie Mays' family and friends, to the entire San Francisco Giants organization, and the entire Bay Area. Say Hey Kid. Until next time.
Yes, obviously I'm a Giants fan, so I grew up with hearing the gospel of Willie Mays. Obviously, it's funny because when I was growing up, w- our generation thought like, Barry Bonds is the greatest of all time, right? Like he's the greatest, and our older, like our grandparents and parents, were like, wait, let me teach you about Willie Mays, right? So like
Yeah.
we were ingrained, but it was kind of like, but when you look back and you look at his career numbers, so like he was the original 5-2 player, um, and he was one of us. He was a giant, right? Like when everybody comes to the table and says, like the Yankees said, we have Babe Ruth uh, as the greatest player of all time, right? So or Pittsburgh Clementes and the Dodgers to bring up Ted Williams. Everybody has a player to the table, and the Giants had Willie Mays, right? So it's obviously the last 4 days I've been just hearing stories about Willie Mays, and I can talk about it more in the Giants update. But definitely, he brought baseball together. The original kid. Not everybody, only a few get the nickname the kid. Griffith Jr. He was named the kid, and he lived up to the expectation. But when they put that name on you, the kid, because it's a kid's game, uh, Willie loved playing baseball. He before going to the games, he was out there in the streets playing baseball. After games, he was playing in the streets with the kids. Right, he loved baseball, and definitely we definitely lost a hero. And with the second topic of around the bases, sadly, the Workwood game um, happened this week. on Thursday between the Giants and the San Luis Cardinals. They were last year. It was announced that they were going to honor the Negro League um, for one game at Wickwood, Alabama. And sadly enough, that was where Willie Mays was born. They were going to pay tribute to Willie Mays and all the Negro League players. They wanted to, and obviously a couple weeks ago they announced that they were adding the stats from the Negro Leagues to the Major League record books. And sadly, it was a celebration of all the former players, but also they celebrated Willie Mays. It was the Cardinals won the game, 5-6. It was actually a pretty competitive game. It lived up to the hype, but sadly, back in November of 2023, people were talking about like we Giants knew, like the media knew. Well, if you follow on Giants media, they knew that people were asking we knew that he was not doing well. People were asking, is he going to be at the game? So like, and his family was saying, I don't think he's going to make it. Over the last years, he hasn't been attending regular season games or spring training, which normally he's always there. And last week, they were saying like, is Willie Mays going to be there? And the family said, no, I don't, he's not going to make it. Right. So we knew that he was not doing well, but his um his love was definitely there for him. He was present, and like I said, um, I've been hearing a lot of stories about Willie Mays, and one of the best stories that I heard, Willie Mays wanted to be with his former teammates watching the game. And anyways, Omar, what's your thoughts on the Rickwood game?
This is a great game to honor Willie Mays and all the players of Negro League, the oldest baseball park where so many baseball careers began. As dark as those years were for people of colors, playing baseball gave momentary pause to the oppression that is happening. It was a dark age we do not want to see happen ever again. But saying that, it's great for MLB to come back and honor Mace and all the amazing athletes that Negro League had.
And you're right, Omar. Like, that is actually very true, right? It's a dark history. And we talked about it last week with the when we announced that the Negro stats was being added, and Negro League is a part of Black history, and Black history is American history. So it was a great turnout for definitely, and I'm already hearing the Major League wants to do this every year to honor different teams, different players, definitely. So it was a great success, and it was great to see former players coming back and and just pay tribute, definitely. So we'll see what Major League has in store for that. For the third topic of this week, we talked about it, Omar, in our spring training when everybody was just picking the Dodgers to win the World Series without playing one game, and we talked about like, you know what? There's a reason why we play the game, and it only takes one injury or two injuries, and your season ends, right? And unfortunately, the Dodgers, within 2 days, they lost Betts and the pitcher, their new pitcher. Obviously it's not season ending, but definitely they two big loss. What
Yep.
is your thoughts on these injuries, latest
Uh,
injuries from the Dodgers?
well, these Dodgers injuries are massive. They lost Mookie. They're losing Mookie for at least 6 weeks. They're saying 6 to 8 weeks, and
That's a long time. Yeah.
yeah, we do not know how long Yamamoto will be sidelined, right? Dodgers will be fine with Betts being on the sideline. They have a deep lineup. I'm more worried about Yamamoto. This is a regular thing with Japanese players coming over in North America. They are not used to pitching every fifth day. Show already had elbow surgery and cannot throw this year. We hope that Yamamoto will be okay as we do not wish anything bad to any players, no matter how much hate we have for our rival teams, right?
Yeah, I know you're absolutely right. Yamamoto, That's gonna be the biggest thing because he was going deep into pitching games. He was pitching about 7 innings per game average, so he was going deep, and it's already probably the weakest part of the Dodgers is their pitching staff, and not now they just had a huge loss. And of course, Betts is one of the best players in the league. I know that. Giants know that. So, and it's sad to see that because obviously. Baseball's better when the star players are playing, and baseball's better when the Dodgers are competing as well. So it's going to be a great loss. Hopefully, they can return back healthy, and obviously, the Dodgers have big goals for this season. So hopefully, they can come back better than ever for that playoff push. And Omar, with the last topic of the week, I want to have a discussion of the National League wildcard spots, third spot. There are 9 teams all separated by 3 games. I want to know who has the biggest upside of grabbing.
Honestly,
I'll read the teams out to you. Hold on, give me a second. I'll pull it up. So three. Obviously, I'm close because the Giants are in the Mets and yeah, so I'm just have a. That's why I'm paying attention. But the fact is, 9 teams. No one seems to be separating themselves. So we got the San Luis Cardinals, the Padres, D-backs, Pittsburgh, Washington, the Cubs, Mets, Cincinnati, and Giants. And then we have Colorado and Miami, but they're like 15 games back. So we
you,
want.
you just had to mention them.
Yeah. Well, they're the last
Yeah.
two.
Special participation ribbon, right?
So who has the biggest upsides to take control out of that third um, spot going into the second half of the season?
This is what we want to see, a very tight battle for this wildcard spots. Separated, like I said, by only 3 games or less. Between Cards, Padres, and D-backs, I can see the Diamondbacks having an edge here. The Cubs is always a dark horse, but Shota Imanaga had struggled lately. But if he figures it out and the lineup can start hitting up, they might surprise everyone. So those 3 teams that I mentioned, Cards, Padres, and D-backs, and sorry for the Bay Area, but yeah, I think the Cubs is a really dark horse here.
Really? Okay. To me, as I was thinking this throughout the week because I wanted to discuss this, I actually thought I agree with you. I think the biggest one of the biggest dark horse is the D-backs. I think they're starting. They had a very slow to the start to the season, but they are turning it around. They're starting to hit. They're starting to pitch they're starting to look like last year's team. So I really think the D-backs is one of the dark horse. I really thought Cincinnati, but then they lost a couple games in a row and they dropped. So it's actually starting to heat up. So like a couple games losing streaks and definitely you drop from second all the way to eighth. So that's what happened to Cincinnati within this week. So definitely it's going to be fun. We'll see, but I definitely agree. D-backs. Well, that is it for around the bases. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and it will help our channel grow. Thank you. For this week, we wanted to talk about the All Star roster votes. Obviously, the fan voting is out there. Fans are making their choices. So this week we're going to concentrate on our American League, and the following week we'll do the National League. But let's start with our All-Star selection. So for first base, I have Vlad Jr. Um, Vlad, I honestly think there's not a lot of competition at first base, to be honest with you, in American League, and I think Vlad, he's maybe as a team they're not being the Jays are not doing great together, but slowly I think Vlad at first deserves it just because he's doing okay. His fielding is good, but honestly, I feel that he's done enough to go to the All Star game. So
Yep, when I saw this one, I did not like it, even as a Jays fan.
Yeah.
Vlad has been struggling this season. He has shown some life from time to time, but not close to his career production. However, like you said, the lack of production in the first base from AL this season makes this passable pick.
Right. Like when I go down the list, you go like, okay, maybe Carlos Santana from the Twins, maybe, but he's batting like 248 or something. Like it's kind of like not really that great. Um, Rizzo, Anthony Rizzo. I feel like more he's like a DH specialist, to be honest with you. So,
Yeah,
but not for first base. Um, Josh Naylor from the from Cleveland. He was my second option, but not enough to say that he's having a better year than Vlad,
yeah,
in my opinion, right? So uh, for second base, I have the veteran Jose Altuve. Um, he's actually having another quiet good season for Houston, right? So another team that maybe they're not at the mark where they're expected, but he himself is actually he's having a very productive season. He's hard to strike out. He always puts the ball in plays. He's one of the premier second, even at his age, he's one of the premier second bases, not just in the American League, but in the majors.
yeah. This might be me just hating on the Astros, but I will go with Simeon here. Both have identical stats, with Altuve having a better batting average. But I don't mind you picking Altuve here.
Simeon, okay, I like it. For third base, no, for shortstop. I'm sorry. For shortstop, I have actually Bobby Witt Jr. from the City Royals. One of our first weeks of our curtain call players of the week, and he's just having a breakout season. He's showing he has all the potential to be a star in the league, and not just offensively but defensively. He's actually taken the realm of the shortstop. Obviously, the shortstop is one of the hardest positions to play in the field, and he's actually living up to the his potential.
Yeah, this one is the best one by far.
Yeah.
Battle of the two young shortstop studs. As much as I like Henderson's game, this is a great pick with Bobby Witt Jr. Armando.
Right, right. Um, maybe another candidate I would throw out there is Rafaela from Boston. I think he's just having a great season as well for the Boston, right? So, uh, offensively, Carlos Correa is having a great season. I haven't seen too much of his fielding so far, but offensively, he's actually starting to be a really good player again. Back
Yeah,
to Carlos Prime. Um, Looking like a couple of years ago when he got his big contract, right? So
yeah,
for third base, I am going with Jose Ramirez from Cleveland. He leads all third basemen in batting average, home runs, um, fielding. So um, he's actually a great candidate. The second option actually I was gonna go, but I just couldn't put it in my head of it. But it's Rafael Devers from the Red Sox, a Dominican player. But when you have like close to 19 home runs, I believe from Jose, it's really hard to leave him off the starting roster.
yeah. That's a great pick with Jose Ramirez at third base. I really love that pick. Jays are playing against Guardians right now, and Ramirez is right in the middle of everything. He's been smashing the ball this year, so yeah, I won't argue
Yeah.
with that one.
And he had a very quiet April, but he came back to he came hot in May, and he has definitely had enough cool off. For the outfield, I think there's no surprise. I think every All-Star um, news channel or media outlet, they have a Judge at center field and Soto at right field. I don't think there's some even debates. They're just having career history um, numbers. Like when you compare their number, like it goes back to the 1950s. They're just having both of them together. Definitely, they're going to be starting an all star. There's no debate there. But do you have another other option, center field or or at
Yeah.
right field? I think it's this. Obviously, this is a fan base popularity. I think Mark Trout got a lot of votes.
So basically, you have Soto and Judge. Who's your third outfielder?
I'm actually this is a very hard one, right? So it's like I was looking who else to, but I went actually with Rooker from the A's. He's actually having uh that's one of the new young stars from the A's, and he's actually when you put his numbers compared to the American League, he's pretty up there. So that's what I have. Obviously, also like every they need to send one at least one player from each team, and I just see the A's could be that one player that they sent to the game.
Yeah, Soto and Judge, that's a no contest, hands down. They must be outfield starters. The third outfielder. I know you love your Bay Area boys, Armando, but Kyle Tucker gets my vote here.
Oh, Tucker,
And this
okay.
is not a knock on Brett Rooker, who is having a good season playing for the A's, but Tucker has better numbers right now. But if you play positionally, because Soto is on right field, right, and Tucker is right field,
Yeah,
then if Rooker is playing left field, then Rooker gets in, right?
that is correct. So yeah, for some reason, Soldier has been switching back and forth on the corner outfields. I'm not really sure, but normally he plays right field, right? So, but there's been some consideration for Tyler O'Neill. What's your thoughts
Hmm.
on that?
Tyler O'Neill, yeah, he's been playing great too. So,
Yeah,
but
he has,
I
right? So,
but he's really quiet. Like I'm not sure if the fans will be voting him in.
right,
But
right.
yeah, so
But he is having a good offensively. He's having a really good year. So,
yeah,
so I think that position at left field that might be the one that is kind of like kind of in a sense up for grabs, right? So obviously there's the fan votes, but then the managers or peers can vote players in, right? So that could be kind of up for grabs. Definitely there's some good consideration for catcher. I am going with Alvaro Perez, a former curtain call player of the week. His number speaks for itself. His defensive, his glove, the way he frames um, the ball, the plate. He controls the pitching staff. Obviously, Kansas City is having a great season, and obviously Perez is their leader, their dark workhorse. So definitely, that's my catcher for
yeah.
the All Star.
Salvi is a great pick here, Armando. We might see a ton of Orioles voted in this year. As a rival, I hate it. So Salvi over Rutschman, I won't complain. I won't complain.
What about um? Is there any other candidates that you might choose from?
uh Really, it's a two-man race here for the
Right.
catcher.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think
yeah.
so. Right. I think it's definitely it's a two-man race right here. But obviously, to me, um, Perez gets the nod, right? For DH, I'm going Alvarez from Houston. He's a power hitter. That's what the position is about. Power hitter, right? So, but he also plays in the outfield, so he's a great glove. But for the All Star, definitely I have him. So.
Yeah, I won't argue that your dad pick. This one will be close one with Giancarlo Stanton. Statistically, both of them are close, so we'll see. We'll see what who the fan votes here.
Yeah. At late, the last maybe 3 weeks, Stetson has definitely picked it up. Right. He's definitely picking up the cleaning out the bases when you have like Soto and Judge hitting in front of you. Definitely, your numbers are going to be great. So, um, but I think also like he wasn't healthy in the beginning of the year, so his numbers might not reflect that. But this is a fan vote, so definitely he's gonna definitely get some votes there. And for our starting pitcher for the All Star game, I'm going with Scoville from the Detroit Tigers. He's arguably the best pitcher right now, and for the American League, he has great numbers, great strikeout. His statistics are up there, top five in every category. So I'm going with my All Star starter there.
Yeah, Tariq Skubal has been amazing this season playing for the Tigers. Although pitchers are not voted in by fans, this is a great pick. There will be numerous choices in the AL to start the All-Star, but if we see Skubal starting, I do not see anyone complaining about it.
Right. Other option is Luis Gill from the Yankees. Corbin Burns has had a great season for those coming to from the National League to the American League. So definitely, um, they have a case of why they should be starting. But
Yeah, Luis
for
Luis Hill got rocked, hey, by the Orioles last
yeah,
game.
so um, Tanner Hawk from the Red Sox is having
Yeah.
a great season, and Seth Logo from the Royals. So those they might get consideration. Um, but definitely, when you have a 9-1 record, well, the last time I checked, definitely Scoville is my starter. Well, that is it for the our this segment for the All Star game. Let's get into our Giants and Jays updates for the week. For the Giants update, what can I say? It's been a hard week with Willie Mays. Definitely has distracted this week because of the Giants' inconsistent play. I think they have lost 3 or 4 series now in a row. Um, they keep going back and forth. They were last time, like last week, they were kind of second and third wild card spots, and all of a sudden they're just in the bottom of the. They're 3 games back from the wild card spots. So, it's been tough. I think with all the injuries that's having done, Kyle Harrison went down. I talked about last week with the ankle injury. Now, before that, it was just Logan Webb, uh, Jordan Hicks, and Kyle Harrison, and 2 bullpen sessions. And now all of a sudden we lose Kyle Harrison, ankle injury. Jordan Hicks, obviously he was a reliever, turning into a starting pitcher, but now he's starting to be a limited starter. So the Giants don't have the pitching staff that they thought they had, and they're just at this point. Is this a bad team? They just had there was too much hype, or the injuries is just too much to overcome right now. Um, the few rookie pitchers that we have called up, they're not ready for the majors, um, which is expected, right? Not everybody can come from AAA and just dominate, right? So they have looked good in the first time the few couple of good rookies that we've called. The first time they go through the batting order, that's great, but they make adjustments. This is a top majors, but when they make the adjustments, they just um, they get rocked. So right now we don't even know where we're gonna be at if they're Ruby Gay. It's supposed to be um, after the All Star break. They're supposed to be starting. The rest of the pitching staffs now. We'll see if if there's any setbacks, but at this point they're just trying to hang on to the All Star break. to see if they can just manage. But definitely, they're hurting. And for offensively, it's just really inconsistent right now. We keep losing players. They keep a player comes back and then we lose another player. Right now, the Mike Krzyzewski was announced that he was placed back on the injury after a good month of coming back. Um, Jazz has had, I guess, hamstring issues. He's been dealing with hamstring issues all his career, but he's being placed back. And the silver lining about this is, well, the Dodgers had a injury to their stars, so it kind of holds ground, right? So it's not like, oh, the Dodgers are healthy and they're just running away. Like, no, they're actually kind of like uh, they're they're back, but it could be worse, right? So, but at this point, I've been thinking, like, is this a bad team or is just the injuries? And I think the injuries are just too it's too much right now. We just keep losing players, and it's been great. The young stars that we called up, you can see the potential. Ramos is still carrying the team. At this point, he's the only offensively productive. He is carrying the Giants, but it's not enough to win, and they keep losing a lot of close games. And the bullpen is just overworked at this point because they're having too many bullpen games. But I want to bring this topic to you, um, because our closer, our all-star closer from last year, Tranquilo Duvall, he he because of the bullpen is just overworked. The Giants will lose. We're winning 11-1. Uh, it was a non-safe opportunity, but at that time they're like the bullpen needed some rest, and they called Duvall in at the ninth inning just to get some work because he hasn't worked in 4 or 5 days, and he's because they've been losing the games. And Duvall didn't want to go in the game, and he made a fit, and he all of a sudden it's the Giants won the game, but he gave up 4 runs, and all of a sudden it was 11-6, which they appear a lot closer to be when the Giants dominated the whole game. But he, like I think a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned some closers have a hard time pitching a non-save opportunity, especially closers. They love the the challenge of saving the game, but and definitely he said after the games he made comments saying like I was not a saving opportunity. We were winning by so many runs. Like why am I asked to pitch on a non-safe opportunity? And Ryan Walker, who's been one of the best relievers, when Duvall got pulled out of the game because he allowed 4 runs, 5 runs, and Ryan Walker, who's overworked, came in closed the game. But what is your thoughts on our from Duvall?
Well, like you said, it's tough for closer to come in a non-save situation, but this is what's tough with baseball and your closers. If your closers haven't pitched in 3, 4 games, you need to like insert him in some way, right? So do you insert him in a blowout game? Sometimes you don't have a choice as a team, right? As a manager, you don't have a choice.
Right.
But as a player, you'll be like, okay, I'll come in, but you don't refuse to come in, right?
Right.
I know it's your job to close games, but you have to be professional. You have to
Yeah.
be, okay, I'm ready to go every single time, no matter what the score is.
I think you're right. You have to be professional, but at this point, what he needed to be, not just obviously having maturity and be a professional, but he needed to be a teammate at this point. That
Correct.
bullpen, that bullpen is overworked and overtired, and um, they're just giving up late. The bullpen has blown a couple games, and but just because they're overworked, right? Because we have no starting pitchers at this point. The Giants have no starting pitchers, and like So like he just needed to pick up his teammates and saying like, you know what, I haven't worked in a couple of days. Let me just get in a couple of innings. I'm not sure. No one has announced if um if he was asked before the game is like, hey, like we're gonna regardless of the game's outcome of the game, you're gonna be pitching. That hasn't been announced since then. Like if he was communicated that or um right. So like and we don't even know if he was actually warmed up. That's another thing. Like, was he? Did he get warmed up? Obviously, closers, or just players in general. They're creatures of habit. Maybe just because it was a blowout game. Maybe he just didn't have his normal routine. So maybe that's what also he's mad about. But definitely at this point, he just needed to pick up his teammates.
Yep, correct.
I
Yeah.
think that's where it was. So um, there's no other update. Solaire's coming around. I think he's had just a just terrible season to be honest with you. He hasn't lived up to the hype, but he's had like 3 home runs this week. He's getting on base. It's been a painful to watch Solaire play. Obviously, I watch him a lot from other teams. He was always a competitor. He has great playoff experience and just hitting home runs and a great power hitter. But he definitely has not lived up to the contract or to the hype in the Giants uniform and swinging wildly. But in the last week, he has had more control, more discipline at the plate, and definitely is getting better, but not enough to overcome all the issues that Giants are facing at this moment. At this point,
Yeah, the Jays the Jays dodged a bullet by not signing him, right? Everyone wanted him. Everyone wanted Soler to be signed by the Blue Jays, man. Woo!
well, that is it for the Giants update.
All right, yeah. Yeah, things would turn around hopefully for your Giants, much like the Blue Jays, but for your Blue Jays update. So bad news for Jays fans as closer Romano experienced soreness in his throwing elbow after playing long toss last Friday. It was last Friday or last Thursday. So Romano will be shut down from throwing and the Jays will determine their next step. Set up man Yimi Garcia, who was having a great season, is also dealing with elbow issue. So the back of the pen for the Jays is thin, and with the team having trouble scoring runs, it will be tough for this team to come up with wins in late innings in tight games. And then shortstop Bo Bichette landed in the 10-day IL with a tight with a right calf strain. So we hope that it is only minor and we'll see Bo back on the field soon. Another day, another Blue Jays lost.
Yeah.
So so Jays lost to the Guardians 6-3 today and also lost outfielder Dalton Varsho to a back injury. So Varsho batted in the night and when he was running out from the batter's box, Varsho immediately fell down holding his back. Manager Jan Snyder said Varsho's back tightened up and we hope that it's just that, as Varsho has been amazing in the outfield this season. So Jays have lost 5 straight and sitting at the AL East basement. So I have said this numerous times before the season, the lack of major addition to this team in the offseason and hoping that the starting pitching will hold up its own like last season will be the team's downfall. Is there time to make ground? Yes, there is, but a lackluster offense coupled with depleted Ben is not a recipe for a continued success. I have said this in our last week's episode either be sellers, try to trade veterans like George Springer, Kiermaier, Justin Turner, even catcher Jansen. We will see those players moved on the deadline before we see Bo or Vlad getting moved, unless the Jays gets an offer they cannot refuse. But I highly doubt that. So
Right.
yeah, that's it for your Blue Jays update this week.
Well, I think the Giants and Jays need to turn it around, or we're gonna have to be covering the Drakes and Kendall Lamar's beef going on.
Yeah.
California versus Canada. We're gonna need something else to talk about.
Yeah. After the deadline, we won't be able to talk about Jays and Giants, right?
But I do have to say, because the Jays are in the same boat as the Jays. What should one of these teams who are just hovering around 500, maybe they can do a leg push? Should they go after a Mike Trout?
That's a good question, actually. I've
Because
heard.
look, the thing is that this is that anybody who wants a star or a Mike Trout player, this is the time to go get him. When he's injured, he's gonna come back either late this season. He's gonna be a great addition if he can come back for this season. If not, for next following seasons, he has a 6 year remaining on his contract. Why not teams who are hovering around? Why not make the move right now? Especially the Giants or the Jays or somebody like. Why not make the move right now? Because guess what? If you're waiting to see if he's healthy or what kind of shape he's in, well, you're not going to be able to afford him then, because
That's true.
his market is gonna go up. So you're gonna have to pay more to get a Mike Trout type of player. So my question is for the Giants or any other team who wants to win is like, go get Mike Trout. This is the
Yeah.
perfect time to do it.
So yeah, Mike Trout, I can see your Giants making a move for him, but I see the field is going hard after him because he's from there, right? So they'll have a better chance of landing him. But like I said, if the bubble teams like the Giants, the Cubbies, even the Diamondbacks, they have to make a push, right? So they need to look at Mike Trout.
Definitely, I think I just in general, obviously the Giants have the salary cap to do it. They have the prospects to do it. But I'm just saying in general, for any other team who might say, like, you know what, like the bubble teams, like why not, right? You're not gonna get him if he comes back and he puts another great numbers. Well, he's gonna go higher, right? The price, the Angels might want the higher value, but my thing is that I think the Angels want to start over. I think both sides want to start. Why not, right? So I
Yeah.
think from the financial side, I think it's the Angels know, like, we're not going anywhere. We need to restart again, rebuild. Um, so like they might want to be in favor of letting go of Trout, and I think Mike Trout wants to do it too. I think they all both need a fresh start here, and I think the time is right now.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
Well, that is it for your Giants and Blue Jays update. Um, Thanks again for watching another episode of Saturday Sliders.
We'll see you next week.